Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel, and today in this video we are going to cover a concept inside Inertiajs which is called shared data. Now, to understand what is shared data, let's take the example of a user object that is available inside Laravel using the auth user functionality. So what happens is inside the entire code base or inside the entire request, whenever we are writing any code, we get access to the current authenticated user. Now, inside our front-end application as well, we might require this information. So I have gone ahead and added this UI of Flowbyte. I have a git commit, the this one where I have made all these changes. I'm not going to go through the UI changes right now because this is, I feel, unnecessary in this series. You can look at the code changes. These are very small ones. I basically installed Flowbyte, which is a very straightforward step. And then I copied some of their component code and pasted inside my application and made it compatible. That's about it. Okay, and that's how I got this top nav bar, and I got the login page as well, which I'll show you. Now we will see how we can use the auth user object inside our application to show that over here. And as you can see, there can be quite a few instances where we will need the user object, the user name, and the user email in multiple places in the front end app. And that's what shared data helps us tackle. We are able to share some information at a top level, and that data then can be used across smaller child components. By the way, if you want to view this content in Hindi version, then I have a Hindi channel as well where I have gone into details of the same content or the same concept in Hindi. So if you feel comfortable, you can definitely go and check that video out. I will put the link in the description below. So yeah, let's get started. So inside the shared data, if you see, the concept is pretty simple. We have this middleware called handle inertia requests. If you remember, we got this middleware when we were installing Inertia, and in here, whatever data we want, we can add it inside the array merge. Okay, so how do we handle this? Let's go to our code base and inertia request, handle inertia request. This is my code. Okay, so I forgot to reset this file and that's why I continue to have this code. That doesn't matter. I will explain you what is happening. So inside the array merge, I am putting in two keys. One is the auth user, and I'm saying if the request user is available, then add only the ID, name, and email. Otherwise, it's null. And I have app.name. So these are the keys. App.name will be config app.name. And that's something which I have defined over here. So if you see inside the app, right now my application says Inertia app. How is that happening? Let me show you. So I have my nav view, which this entire markup, this component is a Flowbyte component. Now, in here, you can ignore this because this is a flag that I have kept to disable the search bar right now. If you see, should be somewhere. Let me do a search. Yes, if you see, this is a VIF. Okay, so the VIF is why the search component is not visible over here. If I make it true, it just comes back. Okay, so we are going to keep this as false for now. Now, as I said, all the data which is made available by this middleware is at a page level. Okay, and we need to get that inside child components. So the first thing that we do is we create a constant called page equals use page. Okay, this is something which we are getting from the Inertia Vue.js adapter, and this gives us the data inside a page variable. Now, as I said, this is a page, but you can make it anything else, and accordingly the references will change. But I decided to keep it a page. Once that is done, I will let's just see actually what the page has. Now you will get a more clear picture then. Let's save that, open up my console, and you can see we have quite a few things. Okay, but if you also have the debug bar, and if you expand it, click on layout, you will see there is something called attributes. And in that attribute, I have auth, user null, app, name, inertia app. And so now you can understand that those object keys does represent exactly what we are merging inside our middleware. For example, if I do test for the tutorial, save, I need to refresh it once, go to layout. Can you see this key is available as well? So this is the advantage. I can share a lot of data from the server to the front end pretty easily, and then I get that using what we call as a use page. Okay, so we have the entire page data. Now I created two constants. One is app, and I use the views computed helper, and inside that I did page.props.app, and that is how I get the entire data inside app. For example, if I would have done app.test, then that thing would be visible or available inside the app. And similarly, I did that for user. Now, I have used the app over here somewhere. Yeah. Can you see this span? I have app.name, and that is the reason I get inertia app. If I do test, it is not coming. And why would that be the case? App.test, let me refresh, because yes, that's coming through a server side, right? So it will need to reload, and I can get that key as well. Okay, so I won't use this, and I'll revert back. Okay, so now this is how the shared data is available, but let me also show you how we can do that with the auth. So I have, let's open up the login view. Okay, I have the form. Let me look at web.php. Uh, so I have gone ahead and added this code to keep the video short, but I'll explain you what is happening. So I'm getting the email and password from the form. So I am trying to load $user where email ID is postdata.email, and I load the first one. If I get that, I try to attempt a login where email is the email that we got and the password is the password that we got. And if this is successful, what would happen is I will take the user to the home route. Otherwise, I will take him back to the login screen. This is what I'm doing right now. And some of the changes, let me see if yes. So my input box, your email, I'll show you the login screen. So I have an input box for email, a password. So the email has vmodel form.email. Similarly, my input type password has vmodel form.password. Then I have a submit on my form. We have already seen this, so this is nothing new. And I have done a prevent as well so that the page doesn't refresh. I have method post. Now on click of the submit button, which is here, right? This is the button. What happens is the form is getting submitted. Now this function over here will intercept that, and it is posting the data which is here in the form on this URL. And that's how my code inside this post URL is getting triggered. And the entire thing about creating the session, dropping the cookie, and all those things is done using the auth attempt. If it is successful in doing it, it will do everything. Otherwise, it will fail. Okay? So let's see that in action. By the way, before that, a user, I have created that using a seeder. So if you see database seeders, database seeder.php, user factory create, name Amitav Roy, email address is this, and password is a beacon value of password @123. So let's try to log in. Okay. This is done, and now let me refresh and see. This is still showing Neil Sims, and that could be because I haven't changed the code. So let me NEIL, yes. So this thing is still visible. Why don't I change that? User.name, user.email, refresh, and voila, we have the current user's name and email in here. And honestly, the same code can be kind of added anywhere in our application. So just for the sake, let's say we have this send data, we do a br div and email. Okay, and I'll just steal a little bit of code, something very similar from here in my use page. So that's done, and this is done as well. So now I can do user.name, user.email, and why is it complaining? I think that's because, yeah, the p tag had the div, so it was complaining, but it's fine. And it is kind of breaking. Computed is not defined, which is correct. I haven't imported computed, so I'll just import that as well. And if I refresh now, can you see the username email is visible in this component as well? So the nav component, the home component, everyone is able to get the data that we are showing, but that is sent by the server one time. And this is the beauty. Inertia doesn't require you to manage complicated states and stuff. It has a helper through which you can send data from the server. If you have certain situations where the data is required on multiple places, you can use the shared data. And if you feel that there are certain data points which are required only on that page, then obviously the way we saw sending information through the controller, that process is always there. So yeah, this is the concept of shared data inside Inertiajs. This is what I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you understand the concepts. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I will answer them. If you like this video, then do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.